had two holidays now. Stock market has been closed, but the all-share index gained 5.6% week on week, ended at 25,204.75 points due to buying interest in some blue chip names. Similarly, market capitalization increased by 694 billion naira to close at 13.1 trillion. Year to date, the market is down by 6.1%. Can the markets maintain their bullish momentum? We're going to find out in a moment with our guest. Meanwhile, some analysts are in different camps with regards to how the outcome of the MPC meeting on Thursday, Monetary Policy Committee meeting, will turn out. Are they going to hold rates? Are they going to increase them? Or are they going to cut them? We're going to find out as we talk with our guest, Muktar Muhammed, who is an analyst financial analyst. Good morning to you, Muktar. How did you see things? What's your take on the market activity in the prior week before we close for the holidays?
Well, it wasn't surprising we saw in the market in the prior week. We saw movement in blue chip stocks, like you said in your report, and especially in the banking sector, financial sector, to be precise, and the banking sector. We movement there in Access Bank in terms of volume, in Zenith Bank in terms of volume and value, and also in First Bank also. And then we saw the communication sector being boosted by MTN also. So those were the movers of the market during the week last week. And the reason for that is not far-fetched. It's just because of most investors are keen into the half-year report, especially for the financial sectors and companies that will be paying interim dividends. And most of them are in the financial sector, the lack of Zenith Bank, Access Bank, UBA, GTB. So those were responsible for the price movement you saw in those equities and also the volume. And that add up to what we saw in the all-share index because investors last week gained over 700 billion.
Thank you for that. So what do you think that bullish momentum will continue this week? How do you see things playing out this week?
Well, in terms of being optimistic about that playing out this week, it will depend on a lot of things. And one of those factors has to do with economic news that will be coming in during the week. Last week, you could say most of all these ones also were because of the good economic news that we had about the price of oil, the opening up of even the Chinese economy, which happened to be the largest purchaser of Nigerian oil. So all these add up. This week we have the Monetary Committee meeting coming up. This week we're going to see how the Monetary Committee meeting will come up and how it will impact on exchange rate stability. Because that is why we've not seen the kind of long stretch of bullish runs we wanted to take because we're still waiting for foreign investors and still hanging out there looking for a good exchange regime to come to the market. So that will play out because if you look at the half-year owns, where investors are taking position has to do good entry point in terms of bargain hunting for some of these stocks. For those stocks to continue those price movement, there must be a trigger. And those triggers will come in form of market news or also economic news. So basically now, what will drive it will be economic news. What is the do we see exchange rates stabilize and do we see the opening up of more economic in the world? So that will help.
Okay, and as far as the MPC meeting is concerned, which way do you think they're going to go on Thursday?
I think they will maintain rates. They will have to maintain rates. They don't have if you've maintained rates and you see the kind of impact it has had in the Q1 that even where people are looking at negativity of the economy and you have a growth of about 1 point something. So definitely you will know that they will say they're doing something right and they want to continue to do that same thing. So I don't see them changing rates. But they have a lot of issues to, like I said, they need to look at the exchange rates to make sure they respect stability, especially the parallel market. They also have to look at inflation. It's a must. They have to think of how to protect because through their stimulus package that the CBN is directly intervening in key sector of the economy, they'll be driving a lot of liquidity into the sector. So they need to deal with that also. And also they need to look at the oil price also to see how it will impact on the foreign reserve because that also will determine their intervention to bring stability in the exchange market. So I think they will leave it, but they have to take into consideration some of these items I just spoke about.
Okay, fantastic. Now, you mentioned driving some liquidity into certain sectors. Any sectors that caught your attention that you like? You mentioned the financial sector earlier. Any other ones? Or still, if you like the financial sector, what sectors are you looking at?
Yeah, financial sector see the dose of investors because of liquidity and the market, the interim dividend market news. Also, don't forget the medical sector also has been bullish for quite a while. We've seen stocks in that space move further up, almost gaining up to like 30 to 40%. And that is not far-fetched too. You need to look at the news coming in. CBN are intervening in the medical sector. COVID-19 has actually impacted more positively in the medical sector, segment of the market than other segments. So those two segments will really drive the market going forward. The insurance sector also have a role to play, but its role has to do with the stock. So the volatility will still be high in that space. Those are the space that investors need to make short-term returns. So those three spaces are spaces that investors need to watch out.
All right, thank you for that. Now, I want to ask you about this. IPOs, initial public offerings, haven't had that many recently. What do we need to see to get more of them on the Nigerian Stock Exchange?
You don't have that recently because confidence is low. Confidence is very, very low in the market. This market is largely driven by foreign investors, and no foreign investors love playing the IPO space. And the retail investors also, from the experience in the last IPO, have not been very encouraging. So the market needs to be very stable. The market needs to have a direction. And again, the stock exchange also need to encourage most small players to come to the market, especially at times like this that they need a lot of liquidity. But a confidence also has to be from the investors. And confidence for investors is looking at the history of what has happened in the past 5 years or thereabout. So most of them that have come in after that have not given investors any tools for them to look forward to. So the confidence in the market is very low as regards IPO, and I don't see that confidence in high anytime soon.
Well, what would you say about I think the last one we saw, because folks have also talked about seeing more industries, IPO on the exchange, like MedView Airlines, for example. So that was aviation. That was 2017. I think that's the last one we've seen. Were you encouraged by that, or how do you see it?
How would I be encouraged by that? I wasn't encouraged by that because like you said, from that 2015 to date, right, they've not even paid anything to any investor that have been there. The price have frozen. They listed at #1 something. I think it's going a little low, very low. And also, when you look at that sector now, it's not a sector that investors wants to go to, especially the aviation sector is on a total lockdown. So you see, you brought it out where I said confidence is low. So right, you can say confidence is very low in that sector.
No, thank you for that. Okay, so wait, with regards to foreign investors and domestic investors, because the foreign investors seem pretty skittish right now, can domestic investors carry our market?
No, we cannot carry the market. We don't have the kind of liquidity to carry the market. That's why you see the bullish run has been very short. You see it's short-lived because most domestic investors are looking at short-term returns, and especially domestic investors that are playing the market are retail domestic investors, not institutional domestic investors. So if you have had institutional domestic investors, then you can say, okay, fine, we might have the kind of stability in terms of bullish funds. You can sustain the market. Even with that, you cannot sustain it so much. So we need the foreign investor because the world itself has become a global village, even if COVID-19 has made us think otherwise. But going forward, it will still come back to be a global village. So we need foreign investors because of the kind of liquidity they come in with the market, even if we can see they also come in as short-term players. Once the exchange rate stability is ratified, and they will definitely come. They really want to come to our market. Our market has been very, very profitable for them.
Okay, so can I ask this? If we're looking at reforms, do foreign portfolio investors, do they pay attention to reforms in terms of you talking about them being attracted to come back in?
Definitely, they pay attention to reform. And if you about foreign portfolio investors, when they look at reform, they look at how the stock exchange has been able to manage itself. then if you look at that, then you have no option that you want to come, because even during the lockdown of the market, of the economy, that sector really played the stock market was very active all throughout that period that the market was down. So the foreign, if you look, that's part of reforms, the release of quarterly result, relief of annual result, in terms of dividend payout, how much sooner do you get your dividend? And if you look at all those reforms have been carried out by the exchange, then you look at the biggest reform that is coming into the exchange to make the Nigerian Stock Exchange a public liability, a public entity whereby people can both buy and share and sell shares of the exchange itself. All that are positivity that makes foreign investors being attracted to our market. And that's why you see the kind of foreign investors we see in our market, because there's been a lot of reform. Let me give you an example. Before, a half-year result can come out even sometime in November or December, but this time it has not happened. They give you just 1 month to release that result. After that 1 month, if that result is not released, you begin to pay fine. And so most companies have been up and doing so, and the result have actually come out promptly. So those are the type of reform the foreign investors want to see. And then the other one they want to see a two-way exchange system. Am I able to trade with my money then? Also, I want to go back to my country. Will I be able to move my money to that country? And I think the exchange have been also be able to do that also with collaboration from CBN. And even the CBN governor has to come out last week and say that the CBN is committed to a two-way exchange system. So those are the type of reforms that foreign portfolio investors are looking for. And definitely in our market, they have those reforms.
All right, so 20 seconds, yes or no, should the NMPC list on the Nigerian Stock Exchange?
Why not? That would be that finally you want the national cake to go all around, and it will be good, especially when we are looking at the downstream of the economy, we are looking at the privatization, we are looking at the complete deregulation. That will bring openness, that will bring transparency. The type of losing we see the NMPC report will come down, because there's no reason why NMPC should be bringing up the type of losses they bring. So that will deepen the market, and that will help the market, and that will attract more foreign investors into the market, because oil is our key driver in terms of our economy.
All right. Muktar Muhammed, financial analyst, thank you so much for joining us to talk about the MPC and the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We appreciate your time.